My name is Juanita Phillips, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here tonight to help launch my friend Annie's second book. Just to very quickly let you know why I'm doing this. I first met Annie about 25 years ago, so I've known her for a long time. Back when she was just a brilliant and funny actor. But over the years, she has
progressed.
Reinvented herself
To another career with no money, so it's good.
It's
good. No, don't say that.
She is now a brilliant and funny actor slash corporate coach slash leadership expert slash best-selling author, and it's just a delight to have seen her progress, make these wonderful progressions.
Thank you, Juanita.
So we're here to talk about Annie's second book, and if you've read the first book, you will know that it centres around the character of Kat. She is a very relatable character in that she is a smart woman who makes bad decisions. And
you're going to talk about your bad decision?
In a minute.
Okay.
Settle just in a minute.
Okay.
Yes. Kat is back in book 2. Kat was a bestseller in book 1. Now she's back in book 2. Not only is she still making a few bad decisions, but she is getting taken in by lies and scams. So she's a smart woman who's being taken in by scams. I mean, who the hell would think smart women would get taken in by scams?
Yeah, who would think that?
Who would think?
Yeah.
Okay, so just fill us in a little bit. What prompted you to write this book?
Are you not going to talk about your scamminess?
Yeah, I will. If you
Talk
want
about
to,
your
all right,
scamminess
she's
first.
the elephant in the room. Go on.
Go on.
Shame me.
Okay, tell them about the keto gummy bears.
Okay, so...
Can everybody hear me? No. Okay, David, nobody can hear me. We have to shut the whole thing down.
Do you want to borrow mine?
No one's to speak until I'm mic'd properly. Thank you. Juanita, tell them about the keto gummy bears.
Okay, so this is why I'm the perfect person and the target audience for this particular book, Smart Women Who Get Taken In by Scams. Has anyone heard of keto weight loss gummies? No. Put your hand up. If you're on Facebook, you've heard of keto weight loss. We know it's a scam, right? We know that the celebrity endorsements are a fake. Do we all know that? I know that. Did that stop me ordering the keto weight loss gummies? No, it did not. I resisted the lure of the weight loss gummies for probably about 6 months. I knew they were a scam. I knew that Chrissy Swan wasn't really endorsing them. But one day it was just all too much, and I ordered the keto weight loss gummies. I spent $350.
Oh, no.
And when they arrived, and I was going to bring them tonight actually, and I forgot. I'm really sorry.
Slack.
As soon as I looked at them, I thought, oh dear. And I immediately jumped on the internet and I Googled keto weight loss gummy scam, and guess what? There's a whole heap of stuff on the internet about keto weight loss gummies.
And then you had to cancel your credit card because it kept charging her, right?
So not only
it's like a nightmare.
Somehow paid $350 for 3 bottles of like little lollies. Also, I had to, cancel my credit card, or they would have kept taking out $350 per month for the rest of my life. So, this is my great shame, and thank you, Annie, for bringing it up.
That's my pleasure.
But I think what it does is that it just illustrates that sometimes smart women can make really stupid decisions and get scammed. So,
because it talks to, that's just the best example ever, because it talks to motivated reasoning, which is in the face of overwhelming evidence that something is a scam, if you want it strongly enough and passionately enough, you are going to override that part of your brain and make the gummy bear purchase. So that's what the book's about. It's about the fact that we are in a pandemic of scamming. Hi, Steph. Steph's come from Perth. Just thought you'd like to know that. We're in a pandemic of scamming, and no amount of spam filters or regulations are actually going to save us. If we don't develop critical thinking skills and understand that strong emotional driver is the thing that you really have to question, then we're going to keep being scammed. And it's not just online, it can be, people lie, people have always lied, and we are a trusting, human beings trust. And it is that trust that often gets us to override that critical thinking part of the brain that's going to save us. Yep.
How do you know when somebody's lying to you if you trust them?
We didn't rehearse that, and
I just want to know personally.
yeah. Why would you want to know that, Juanita? Hang on. So the thing is that we make decisions in the emotional part of our brain, right? Because we want something, and then we post-rationalise it. So if you actually want to be safe, you need to understand that, for instance, somebody being charismatic or warm, it's what I've said to my daughter and son right from the start, charm doesn't cut it. Just because someone is nice and charming, it doesn't equate to good. So you have to do some careful analysis about your decision making and not go with your gut response. Gut response is just, as my psychologist friends will tell me, is just reverting to memory. So we've got this idea that your gut is this incredible repository of truth, and it's not. Sometimes it's accurate and sometimes it's wildly inaccurate. So if you're having a gut response that says, I've just met someone, I'm not saying that's your story. I've just met someone and he's awesome, just because he's charming and nice, you really need to examine the data in front of you and not just go for confirmation bias. Does that actually answer that?
It totally answers it, and for an unscripted question,
Thank you.
did so well.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to throw you an easy one, which is the scripted question.
Okay, quick, yeah, okay.
Okay. What sort of lies are you
Yes.
going to talk about in the book?
Thanks for asking that. So, I have an eBay scam, a multi-level marketing scam, a cubic zirconia posing as a diamond scam. I look at what happens in your brain when you have a discount voucher in your pocket. I examine the big lie of empowerment and other meaningless corporate utterances that we're just drowning in. I have a psychic in it because I hate psychics. And anybody here a psychic? I'm so sorry. You would have, but you would have known that was coming, right? You knew I was going to say it, so you wouldn't have come. And a corporate consultant guru who touts the benefits of the highly inaccurate but weirdly popular Myers-Briggs, which is just really weird and pointless and just fundamentally so wrong. Also, as to the gummy bears, I take a big axe to wellness and social media influencers who are horrible. Is that wrong? But it's sort of right though, isn't it? It's sort of right. So what I thought was that there's a lie that many of us have fallen for, and it's in relation to buying a pet. Hayley, I don't think this is going to happen to you wherever you are, but there's a lot of motivated reasoning when we want to buy a pet and we are told that the pet is awesome and maybe the pet is not. Would you like to stay there while I read and admire me, or?
What would you like me to do? What I want to do is give you a little rest because I think your voice is going.
Yes.
I think you should just take some time to
Okay.
have a little glass of water while I say this. Very interesting. What Annie's going to do now is read a whole chapter from
Yep.
the book. Okay.
It's only 3 hours.
So I'm going to step down now and let the
Thank
Queen
you.
do her thing. But thanks very much for having me here tonight. Lovely
Thank
to
you
meet
so
all of
much.
you, and lovely to be part of this.
Thank you,
very much for
Juanita.
asking me.
I'm very appreciative. Thank you. Is that mic now off or? Chapter 1. Georgie Parker, shut up. You should have taken the rag doll. Porridge, come on, Porridge, come on, who's a good boy? You've been calling for an hour. He's not a good boy. He's a bad boy, a very bad boy. Ah, he's got a real personality, said Miriam on the phone. Personality in dogs, as we all know, is code for maniac tendencies. That should have been the first red flag. Oh. We're sorry to see him go, but Doug's hip's gone and we're just keeping the rag doll cat. You bet they're keeping the rag doll. You bet the rag doll comes back when it's called and doesn't chew all available pieces of soft furnishing. I have a cat, you'd said. Oh, Porridge loves cats. I live in a flat and have elderly neighbours. Is he obedient? Oh, yes. We got him in the first place to be an assistance dog. Doug's real sad to see him go. Liar. Doug must have clapped his hands when Porridge was loaded into the pet transport van. He must have cracked open a tinny and danced around the vacant spot where Porridge's dog bed had been. What did he assist with? You'd said. Oh, you know, this and that. Does he bark much? You'd said. Oh, only if he thinks you're in danger. He's very protective. You must always be under extreme threat from unknown assailants because Porridge barks constantly. He might need some Xanax. Penny, the tiny vet with the tiny voice, had said. Xanax? What is he? A 30-something advertising exec with a hot social life? Are you anxious, Porridge? Penny had cooed at him. Porridge had put his sizable paw into Penny's tiny hand and looked at her with large, doleful eyes. He's a good boy at the vet, aren't you, Porridge? She'd said, tipping a liver treat into his mouth. Do you use treats when you do behavioural training? Yes, you'd said. I go through about 1 kilo a day. We have a dog behaviouralist, Penny had said. I can refer him. You want Porridge to go to a dog shrink? Well, no, it's your decision, Kat. Okay, I'm good, thanks, I'll take the Xanax. No, you can't take the Xanax. No, I meant I'll take the Xanax for Porridge, though now you mention it, what would happen if I did take the Xanax? Penny's lips had compressed. It's okay, I'm just joking. Though, what if the cat's having a rough night? Penny had sent you out with a Xanax after you pledged not to give it to the cat. And the name of the dog Shrink, should you change your mind. You'd eyed the Xanax on the seat next to you as you'd driven home. Back in the park, you stamped your feet pointlessly. Porridge, Porridge, come on! Owning a recalcitrant Groodle was not part of the plan you'd mapped out during your goal-setting Saturday session you'd attended at your gym. The only reason you'd stayed for the session was to collect the free water bottle emblazoned with the words, "Be that unicorn." If you don't know what you want, how will you know what to go for? Said Tobias, the trainer. Write it down, legends, write it down. So you'd written it down. Step 1, stop being indecisive. The trainer had looked over your shoulder. Maybe rephrase that into a positive. Right, you'd said, so be decisive or start being decisive. Well, you decide, he'd said. Well, that's the problem, I can't. He'd patted your shoulder and moved on to Dana, your training buddy. She'd already banged out half a thesis on her goals. Great, Dana, he'd said. Dana also finishes her circuits before everybody else and loudly says, I've finished. Should I keep doing squats until everybody else is done? Back in the park, it's getting dark. It starts to rain. You try your stern voice. Porridge, you yell, come here immediately. The breeze picks up as the sun goes down. The temperature plummets. The park is emptying. People sensibly load their pets into their warm vehicles and head home. You turn around and walk in the other direction. Porridge, come on, boy. Who wants a treat? A woman walks towards you, preceded by a pink raincoat on a lead. Upon closer examination, the raincoat houses a small, neat Pomeranian cross. You lost your fur baby, she says. You find the term fur baby intensely irritating. Yes, you say, have you seen a large Groodle? Have we seen a Groodle, Trixie? The neat Pomeranian sits at her feet, its paws are placed perfectly in second position. Why did you get fixated on Groodles? Why didn't you adopt a small dog? A dog like Trixie with her ballet paws? The rain thickens, you're dressed in shorts and a t-shirt because you were only dropping into the park for 15 minutes and it was sunny when you arrived. It's now 12 degrees and you've been here for an hour and a half. What colour is your groodle? Oh, like beige, caramel. What's his name? Porridge. Oh, she says. You prepare to launch into the disclaimer that you didn't name him, but it's now raining heavily and you shut your mouth. So is it because of his colour? You have no idea why Miriam named him Porridge. You'd asked her on the phone if you could change it. You were thinking of Nolan or Harry. No, don't change his name, said Miriam. You want him to come back when you call him. How long will it take him to get used to me, you'd asked. Oh, not long. He's a very well-adjusted, loving family dog. He just might be a bit nervy when he first arrives. A bit nervy. Things that unnerve Porridge include plastic bags, men buckets, his food bowl, cats' hats, sunglasses, your slippers, the lettuce spinner, and the car, specifically the back seat of the car. You have to physically lever him into the front seat where he sits with one paw in contact with your leg at all times. Things that don't unnerve him include roaming over the hills like Julie Andrews. You'd rung Miriam after a week. Yes, she said he just needs time to settle in. He probably misses the rag doll. Right, she'd said. Now you smile at Trixie's owner. Yes, you say, he's called Porridge because he's porridge-coloured. Well, we'll keep an eye out for Porridge, won't we, Trixie? There's nothing worse than not being able to find our fur babies. They trot past you, the woman safely ensconced inside her hooded raincoat. You briefly entertain the notion of going home, leaving Porridge to his own devices. He could catch his own fish from the park pond and eat wild berries, like in an episode of Alone. Then you realise he can barely manage to eat from his own bowl, let alone catch his own prey. It's now dark. You're drenched. The park lights flicker on. You're standing disconsolately on the park when through the wet gloom, a lone caramel figure approaches. You squint your eyes. It looks like a groodle shape. Porridge, you call. Come on, boy. Who's a good boy? It is Porridge, and he's overjoyed to see you. He bounds towards you. He is sopping wet and filthy. He has something disgusting in his mouth. You want to smack him, but having read a small amount of dog training literature, you have been led to believe this will dissuade him from returning in the future. Instead, you're meant to praise him for his obedience. Well, you're sorry, but that's a bridge too far. The best you can manage is to clip his lid on and say, come on, and you're not sitting in the front seat. 3 minutes later, the threat has turned into a Mexican standoff, with you standing at the open back door, pointing at the seat, and him lying down on the ground. Trixie's owner starts her car next to you and briefly observes the tableau. Your fur baby is found, she says. Trixie and I are so pleased. She drives off with a little wave in her pleasantly warm car, Trixie looking smugly out the back window. Lightning and thunder have now commenced. Porridge is lying in an ever-deepening puddle, looking around him like he's at the hardware store, looking for the right sort of stainless steel cement nails. You drag him to the back seat. You're not getting your own way today, buddy, you say. You're so wet that your hair is stuck to your head and you're having trouble seeing because the rain is sleeting into your eyes. You put his paws on the seat and lever his back into the car. He looks back at you aghast and immediately climbs into the front, leaning heavily on the door and looking studiously out the window. You climb into the driver's seat and lean over into the back to find an old dog towel to dry off your hair. You start the engine and, in the privacy of your own car, you give him both barrels. Right, you say. You can look out the window as much as you like, but nothing will change the fact that you're a bad dog. A bad, bad dog. Not only are you bad, but you're also a coward. What other dog is afraid of plastic bags and lettuce spinners? Honestly, it's tragic. Also, Susan doesn't like you. The rag doll cat may have tolerated you, but Susan is a discerning cat and she's not keen. He continues to gaze fixedly out the window. I'm giving you back to Miriam. He side-eyes you. The threat of returning him to Miriam may have hit home. You adopt a conciliatory tone. I'm sorry, Porridge, you say, next time. If you could come back when I call you, that would be optimal. He puts his paw on your leg. By the time you get home, you have patted his ears and promised him dinner. This is why the idea of having children bothers you. You're a total pushover. They'd be roaming all over the park at night and you'd be standing in the rain, calling helplessly into the dark. Do you need to come back and say anything like thank me?
Thank you, Annie. That was wonderful. How wonderful was that? That was so good. Can I just ask, is that based on any one of your dogs?
Yes. So Porridge is an amalgam of Ryder, who looks like that, and Yo-Yo, who's like a nutcase. She's like, wow.
Which was the one that wouldn't get into the back seat or the front seat?
So that was Ryder. For the first 18 months of his life, we had to lever him physically into the car and then he'd vomit. It was great. It's good. And Yo-Yo, who's just like this and just super, super nervy and frightened of everything. He's good in the car now.
Well, I enjoyed the performance of that so much that I missed the moral of the story, which I guess is don't believe people who have got a rescue dog or something to rehoming dogs.
Well, yeah, I mean, broadly, it's that we have got motivated reasoning. She wanted the dog. She just wanted the dog. So she wanted to believe what Miriam was telling her, even though, as she said, there were red flags all along, and that's what we do. We just do it in many different contexts. It's just I just start off with a relatable context that most people can, go, yeah, that's me and dogs or pets, yeah.
Can I do something completely random now?
Sure.
And are you prepared to take questions from the audience and do the interactive thing? How about it? I think that's an excellent...
Yes, David
and
McCubbin. Surprising. Yes, David. Yes, stranger.
It's, I hadn't really realised, but yes, indeed, you did base Porridge on a couple of dogs in your life. How many of your friends and associates and clients are also featured in the book in one form or another?
Oh, that's a dark question.
Okay, so Gail, who's at the back, is a chicken in it. Yeah, she's a chicken. Most everybody I know is in it in some form.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, it's mainly just about Oscar. Also, Miriam has the voice, and where's my brother? Who do you think Miriam sounds like? Auntie Marge, right? She's so everybody, people that I know are all somehow in the book in strange little ways, yeah.
Next question.
You please don't feel you have to ask questions. However, if you could buy a book, that'd be great. Oh, Jackie Lane. Yes. Yes, Jackie.
What's the main take-home message that you want people to take out of the book, having read it?
David, what is the main...
She never really thought about it.
I never really thought about
That
it.
was a trick question.
I think you said it. That,
Did I?
Look, with all of the scams that are going on at the moment, like you said, regulations, spam filters...
It doesn't do it.
Other people protecting you from the pandemic of lies is not going to keep you safe. And it's a muscle that you need to develop.
It's like, we think... you learn an instrument, it takes a long time. You don't naturally have critical thinking skills. And because our intuition and instincts are so elevated, especially for women, very elevated, that we've got this amazing sort of capacity to sense things, and it's only true half of, or I don't know what percentage is, but you have to be really, really careful about trusting your feelings on things. So that's my message: is you need to develop the muscle, the critical thinking muscle. Yes, Georgie.
Why do you think that women are more susceptible to being scammed than men?
Why they are? There is definitely, certainly in terms of wellness.
Are women more susceptible to
Being
being
scammed than men?
than men, and if so, why?
My voice is.
Can you hear
Grab
around
the
the mic?
mic.
Use Melita's hand.
Thank you. I think everybody is vulnerable to being lied. I think that women naturally form communities more than men, and that by virtue of that, if somebody comes into our lives, even if it's on the internet, then there is that natural assumption somehow that that community, that person is part of our community. And also, women are just given so many messages about what is acceptable in terms of the way you are presented, and how you have to be, and how thin you have to be, and how amazing you have to be. So I think we are more vulnerable, and wellness in all its horribleness is mainly aimed at women, because we are the main purchasers of these things that promise so much and pretty much deliver nothing. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thanks.
Can you also tell me what is under the umbrella?
Come over here.
What is under? No.
Come on.
I'm asking.
She's
what's
so
under
shy.
I'm so shy. What's under the umbrella of wellness? So when you say wellness, what do you mean by that?
I guess wellness is my particular point of loathing. But marketing, we are, we. Oh yeah, what is it? A cookbook.
Simple vegan.
I don't mind vegan. I'm very anti-organic though. But anyway, we won't go there. I know which sounds weird, but it's sort of true. It's a big marketing trick. It's marketing. Wellness is part of marketing. And we are incredibly vulnerable to marketing messages. And unfortunately, the bandwagon effect means that the more people agree with the marketing concept, the more we naturally climb on board, because we're naturally trusting and we feel that they are part of our community. But people that are marketing you things are not part of your community. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, Katrina.
Why do people like things like Myers-Briggs? Why do we kind of, like, is there part of a critical paddle? What part of our brain is it that's...
Can you explain that?
Okay, so who here knows Myers-Briggs?
Know the name.
Oh, it's because you're an actor. It's corporate. Right. Okay, so this is psychographic testing. So you get to test behaviour, personality, and then you get a printout and it says this is what you have you never done one?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. This is what you're like. People love thinking about themselves, talking about themselves, and having people tell them what they're like, especially if it's put in a positive frame up, right? Yeah. So it's the same with psychics. It's the same sort of principle. So the thing about Myers-Briggs was developed in the 30s by a couple of journalists. It's a bit Jungian, so it sounds valid. And then big companies started using it. And because of the bandwagon effect, everyone just climbs on board and actually don't apply themselves to wondering, well, is this actually going to give me a real reflection? People actually still hire people based on their Myers-Briggs profile. It's nuts. You can do the test. Now I'm getting really excited. You can do the test and then do it like an hour later and get a different response. Yeah, so there's a lot of them, but Myers-Briggs is my really pet hate, because people often say to me, oh, you seem like you're an ENTJ.
That's me.
That's you, Jackie, right? You're an ENTJ. Does that answer that?
Yeah.
And we love an identity. People love being told what they're like. It's just a brain thing.
It's like Linda Goodman's star signs in the
Oh,
1970s.
yes.
Who remembers Linda
I love
Goodman's
that.
star
Oh my
signs?
God, especially when you liked a guy, you looked up to see if you were
But everyone was amazing, weren't they? It was all so positive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about that as well, is that you don't get it doesn't come into the negative; it goes into the positive. So you're not a sort of an aggressive advocate for something. You're just really passionate, and so That's sort of how they frame it up. My voice is going.
It doesn't
No,
deal
it's
with
not.
that.
Sorry, any other questions? Oh, yes, Katie. And then Lizzie.
Annie,
Yes, Kate.
about text scams. How can older people particularly protect themselves against text scams? And there's more, terrifying deep fake scams.
Yeah, it's horrible. Look, we just need, our community and us that get it have to be absolutely spreading the word every minute that we can to people that are vulnerable so they are prepared. Because as soon as they pick up that text, as soon as they pick up that call, they're done. So it's our responsibility, us, to go out into the community and say to the people that are vulnerable, be careful. Be very, very careful. There should be a massive media campaign as well. It's a disaster, right? Yeah. Lizzie?
But there is a media campaign about it. What do people still do?
Yeah, that's motivated reasoning because, we're motivated by, it's...
They tell you don't do this, don't do that, and people still. I work.
Mary works in a bank, so she has she has absolute vision on this.
And then people ring them and they go, oh, we're from security. You need to log on to their bank. And you need to download this app. And you need to do this. And people do it.
People do it.
We just had this customer, she was on the news just recently. She lost $300,000.
Yeah, I know, it's terrifying.
She's saying it's the bank, it's not the bank. So she did it all.
I know, it's terrifying. But that's all we can do. Do I need to wind it up, David?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying you identify. That's the argument from authority.
Oh, sorry, David's right. David knows more about the book than I do, even though I wrote it. It's actually true. Argument from authority. Somebody hears someone on the phone that has a word like Westpac, and the brain, it's priming effect. They then go, yeah, that's right, I know that, and they automatically trust it. Argument from authority is correct, David. Thanks. Any other questions? Oh. Who was that? Oh, Lizzie.
So, Annie, you're talking about developing, something else that stops you being scammed. How is a good way of developing that part of the brain? What are the strategies that you employ to develop that new part of the brain?
This will solve everything.
Seriously.
Apart from the book, as well as the book.
Well,
Start, and it's a great
so you need to start to educate yourself around the basic cognitive biases, the cognitive flaws that drive behaviour, like confirmation bias or motivated reasoning. Start to get them into your brain, into this part of your brain. So when this part of your brain says, I want that, this part of your brain is going to go, hang on, is this just confirmation bias?
So you're talking about critical thinking.
Sorry?
You're talking about critical thinking.
Absolutely. Start to acquaint yourself with the basics of it and also read my book. That's all now, everybody, I think, isn't it, David? David's doing this to me.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay. Oh, yes, Ewan. What now?
I just wanted to know your thoughts on AI and the
No, I don't have any. Seriously, I don't.
Buy Tracy Spicer's book.
Buy Tracy Spicer's book. No, seriously, I'm not educated in it. I can't comment. But buy Tracy Spicer's book,
It's
right?
excellent, yeah.
You
Yeah,
talk to it.
Tracy Spicer's book is really good. She's a journalist, she's very funny, she's down to earth, and if you're anyone who's kind of bored or overwhelmed by the thought of learning about AI, Tracy Spicer's book is called Man-Made. It's really kind of easy to understand, but it's a really important book actually. So if you want to learn about AI without being sort of overwhelmed by the science of it, I'd really recommend your book. Yeah. Did you want to say anything about the actor friends of yours?
Oh, sugar. Oh, quickly. Yes, I did. Right. Where's my other... Oh, no, my other piece of paper. Hang on. Everybody, remain calm.
This is a blank piece of paper.
It's there. Can you grab that for me?
Yep,
Sorry.
sure.
Okay. Also, oh, my God. Also, before you go, we are making an audio book. I realised... Thank you so much. And the other bit too. Thank you so much. I did realise at the end of the book that I had written 55 characters. So I have had to ask 12 of my wonderfully talented actor friends to come and voice the characters, and we are halfway through it. And if they could stand up as they call their names. Oh my God. God. Kate Razon and Brian Megan, who are not here, and Paul Goddard. I didn't invite him. I don't know what happened there. Deb Galanos. Deb, who plays Mrs. Kovacic. Lucinda Amor. Where are you, Lou? I know she's here. Lucinda! Mrs. Hume and other characters. Declan Bloom-Kartis, I'm so sorry. Thank you. And Emily Sinclair, who did the most wonderful job of voicing Willow. Katrina Foster. Lily McCubbin. No relation at all. Lachlan McCubbin. Yay! Georgie Parker. Woo! David McCubbin. And Odile Leclasio, where are you, Deal? Who plays Kat, who does the most amazing job of playing Kat. She's just incredible. So thank you all for being my awesome, awesome, amazing, talented friends. And thank you so much for being here with me tonight.
It's been so fun.
Thank you. And now buy all my books. Thank you.
Thank you for a round of applause. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why Smart Women Buy the Lies and How Critical Thinking Reveals the Truth. Both books are available as audiobooks read by a team of fabulous actors.